So we should be live.
You want me to check?
Yeah, go ahead. I hit start streaming.
Streamed 4 seconds ago.
I hit start streaming.
So we're a quarter of the screen right now.
Yeah, I know. I just adjusted it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Streamed 4 seconds ago.
Should be good. I do.
So we're a quarter of the screen right now.
Do you want? Yeah, I know. I just adjusted being picked up on the mic. Yeah. All right. So we're live. I do.
Live, man. So we're gonna shut this off.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see.
Yeah, I know. I just adjusted being picked up on the mic. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So we're live. I do.
Live, man. So I'm gonna shut this off.
Yeah.
Oh, so YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know. I just adjusted being picked up on the mic. Yeah. All right. So we're.
Okay.
You can just mute it.
You could. Oh yeah. What am I doing?
Live.
That's why.
Okay.
Cool.
So we should be good.
What's up, man?
Not much, dude. I got my cup of tea. First episode.
There
There's
you go.
nothing like. I don't know. I don't drink coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you drink tea, but there's nothing like that first sip. Nothing like it.
Tea for me is like when I'm sick, man.
Right.
There's some honey and some tea.
Yeah.
When
There's
I
a lot of
have a cold.
antioxidants in it.
Yeah, that helps out a ton. So let's introduce ourselves.
Okay.
So you can go ahead first.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming a lot of the people do know me.
Of course.
But the people coming from your side don't know me. So I'm Craig Burns, Richie's cousin.
How old are you, Craig?
There we go. Let's start with that. 23 years old. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I don't identify as it much. It's not usually the first thing I tell people when I meet them. Really into computers. I'm an IT administrator at a insurance company, Selective Insurance in New Jersey. So I don't know if you want me to get into my job details, but
We'll hold that off.
Yeah,
Because that's going to be descriptive.
very true.
Because you do a lot.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know me, my name is Richie Hugel. And I'm Craig's cousin as well. I'm a security supervisor at a private racetrack. I'm going to just not say the name. But I'm very much into the same things Craig's into. We both live in upstate New York, and it's a very unique life we live out here, man. It's like in the middle of nowhere.
It's quiet.
Very quiet, and I love it.
You got unique people. Not saying there's not unique people like in the city or other areas, but it's just like it's more visible maybe, you know, because when you're in a crowd of people, like I went to college down by White Plains, New York. And
What college did you go to?
Pace University. Studied computer science, picked up a minor in mathematics, and just being in a crowd of people, even people you don't know, like people don't stick out to you as much. We're like up here, people are more unique. Like, okay, like my high school graduating class. Do you know how big it was? How small it was?
Was it like 50?
50 kids. Yeah, you hit it right.
Could
You hit the nail on the head. It was crazy because everyone knows everyone's parents, where they live, where they work, what they do, what their parents do, who their siblings are, what car they drive, everything.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes that is like the thing for people to talk about in these small towns. It's like, oh my God, you know how it goes. The word gets around town. The small town gossip. Oh my God, he's got a new car. It's a Camaro. Oh my God,
I bet he's paying a lot for that.
Yeah, exactly. You see Jimmy in his Camaro, and he's buying ramen noodles at Peck's Market. You know why?
Yeah.
But man. I mean, I grew up. Oh, go ahead. No, at Monticello, there was almost like 50 kids in the classroom.
Yeah.
It was so, I mean, I don't know what it was. I think it was like 900 kids go to the school. I don't know if that's true. I don't know why that number popped up in my mind.
Could have changed.
It could be 300 or 400, whatever it is. But literally there's like 30, 32 kids in the classroom, and my graduating class, oh my gosh, it took hours.
Really?
How long did your graduation take?
Oh, jeez. Rough estimate, maybe like hour and a half. Hour and a half. Yeah.
Dude, there was speeches
Mm-hmm.
and kids walking, and oh my gosh, it took forever. And you have yours, Eldred, has their graduation outside the school.
Most of the time.
We had ours in Sullivan County Community College.
Oh.
In the hot-ass gym.
Not even at the high school?
No.
That's alien to me. I don't know. I went to this past one last year, and they had it in the gym.
In the gym?
Yeah, and it was a sunny day. It just rained the day before. But, I don't know, superintendent was saying that the chairs would have sunk into the ground, so he had it inside. Yeah. But,
hopefully the superintendent knows the grass texture more than anyone else.
So, something about you, I thought you were a security guard. I didn't know you were a supervisor.
Yeah, so
you watch over the other security guards?
Yeah, so I was very lucky to get the job at 18 years old, the security job.
You've been there a while.
What's that?
You've been there a while.
A long time, yeah. I'm 25 now. So when I was 18, I got into security. My stepfather kind of was like, hey, he's a small businessman. He owns a security company. He's like, dude, you should really get your security license. And I'm like, okay, great. I actually lost my third job. I was young. I was stupid. I was doing crazy shit.
Hey, it happens.
And he's like, dude, you should go get your security license. So I went and I got it. And I got this job where I'm currently working now. Like I said, when I was 18. And there was a little bit of mix-up with we had a supervisor, and then the company hired another supervisor, and things got messed up, and one of them left. Yeah. The one who was there left, and the new one had no idea. He was an awesome guy, he's nice guy. He just had no idea what to do, and this is like a multi-million-dollar company that they needed somebody to know what the hell's going on. So at that point, I'd been there for like 3.5, 4 years. So I approached my CEO or my COO, and I said to him, I said, hey, look, I said, I know the ropes. I've been here for 3 to 4 years. I know exactly what to do. I said, give me a shot. I said, let me. I actually, so I had this meeting with him. It was actually one of the coolest moments of my life, where I went up to him and I said, hey, look, I have this proposal. I want to be your lead security guard.
You proposed to him?
Yeah. So I went into his office. I said, I want to be your lead security guard. I want the responsibility of the supervisor, and I'm going to be a security guard that works there. Usually supervisors, they go in once, twice a week, they make sure everything's good, that plans are all set, the management stuff.
Right.
But I said, hey, I want to be there 40 hours a week, and I'll take on the responsibility.
Okay.
And for him, it was like a no-brainer. It's like, yeah, let's do it. And he goes, I'm going to give you a year, and if you do a great job and you prove yourself, you can be a supervisor. And I nailed that year. I worked 80 hours a week. Our season is March to November, and I still go crazy. I still work the amount of hours now, but I really, I push myself to make sure every single thing. I have a very, when I'm at work, my OCD is absolutely nuts.
Oh, me too. I get, not to interrupt, but I get really organizational, and if it's not my way, I don't know. Not in the sense I like to correct other people, but kind of make suggestions so that it's easier for them.
Yeah.
Because if you see that opening to where, process improvements are always great. But if you could improve someone else's process, it's great.
Absolutely. It's just the little things. And one of the things I learned from the current COO is pay attention to detail. It's all about that little detail. My office space, I'm very particular with my office space. It needs to be swept. The desk needs to be wiped down after every shift. The chair needs to be cleaned. The doors are all glass.
Yeah.
So, dude, you know, you got 3 guys there. So it's 24/7 operation.
Okay.
So you have someone literally in the office all day, like 24/7.
Even
So
holidays?
that, it gets dirty. You said
Even holidays?
Oh, even holidays, man.
Okay.
I've worked this was my first Christmas off. I even worked Thanksgiving this past. I worked 7 to 3 on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And because that's just hard work, man.
Yeah.
And where was I getting the OCD? But anyway, I was very, very, very strict with my guys, and I have a great team. I pay attention a lot to details. Sometimes, I'm like, hey, like, we can't do this because this is a very prestigious place. It's got to look good.
Right.
Just the other day. So I go in, and sometimes our gate breaks, right?
Okay.
And sometimes we use a chain. And then some of the guys, they like to put little traffic cones so that you can see it when you're pulling up so you don't nail the chain.
Right.
And they left the traffic cones out by the gate. And I'm like, they can't be there because it looks like shit.
Yeah.
Like, it does not look good.
And surprisingly, people pick up on that.
Absolutely. And especially me.
Yeah. I'm not saying everybody would. But there's people that pay attention to fine detail who don't work there.
The clientele that you deal with pick up on that. These guys are, these guys are multi-millionaires. There's some billionaires that go there. And you have to be on your A game because when they arrive, they're there to have a good time and, to be catered to. And that's what they deserve. But anyway, that's what I do, and that's how I've gotten to the supervisor position. But the one thing that I can attest my current career to is taking crap and moving forward and gritting your teeth and sucking it up and moving forward. There's not I hate complainers, bro.
Oh, me too.
Dude,
it doesn't make the situation any better.
It's a sickness.
Yeah.
Especially these compulsive complainers. Like, dude, you know what? Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks we have to work 18 hours a day, but push through it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a pot of gold at the end of this.
Not even that. I mean, some people do pay attention to that, but what's more satisfying is just getting home at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And when you go to bed and you're like, yo, I killed it today.
Yeah.
Like, and dude, I'm sure you can attest to this. After working a 16-hour day, you get home and you're passing out.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, I did my job today. I feel good. If you skip out, there's 1,000 people at my job.
Yeah.
I go home after 8 hours. I'm like twitching because I'm like, yo, something can go wrong at any time. And don't go home till the job's done.
What's that?
I don't go home till the job's done.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about taking work home because, unfortunately, I have to do that with my current job. But going back to working the long days, so before I had my current job, I worked in the restaurant, and some days were like 7 a.m. I come home for half an hour. Thank God I work a mile away from home. And I'd get back up to the restaurant, be there till like midnight, on my feet all day. I'm sure other people who, might be listening sometime, who do work in the restaurant know what it's like. On your feet all day in a hot kitchen. It's okay during the winter, but when it's July, August, you got a hot stove on your back, not too much room to walk. It's, it's a lot. But my point is, when you get home at the end of the night, you take that shower, best shower you like. You get in those sweats, get in bed, and you're like, wow, I made some moolah. I made people happy. They had a great time, and I provided them the service.
So now, I've never worked in the restaurant business.
Same thing goes with that, though, is putting up with people.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to be a kiss ass. Not that you got to do it to everybody, but the people who give you a problem, you just got to take it.
Yeah.
You just got to take it. And sometimes you turn around and it's a satisfying feeling.
I've never worked in the restaurant business, but I would imagine that you have to deal with some very angry people constantly. Who could sometimes be mean or, how does, we were just talking about, pushing through it and sucking it up. And how often on a day-to-day basis did you have to do that in the restaurant business? Like, is it one out of every 5 customers? Is it every customer?
It's not every customer, because you would get a lot of regulars. There were people I loved waiting on. I loved waiting on them. They were so nice. And when I was putting up with the other people I didn't want to, and these people would come in, it would make my night. They'd talk to me as busy as it was, and I got 30 seconds to talk to people. It'd be a nice conversation. But there's other people, I don't know, they just don't respect the service. Not that I expect them to, but to the point where they go over the edge and it's just way too much. Like, a little separate from treating the waiter or waitress wrong, there's people who just don't even talk to them. And there's, a two-top who comes in to eat and they're bickering at each other, and you're like, okay, how do I make these people happy if they're arguing with each other? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, there's probably some awkward conversations waitresses and waiters have had to listen to.
Yep, those ones that just make you sweat, Yep.
What? One thing that I love about the restaurant business now is the tipping aspect. Now, my mom told me a story a long time ago. She apparently was a waitress in college, and she went to SUNY Oneonta. I think hopefully that's right.
Sorry,
sorry, Mom. But no, actually, I'm 100% positive it's Oneonta. Anyway, she said when she went to school, she was a waitress, and if she didn't get good tips that week, can't survive. You know what I mean? And she's always instilled that in me. Hey, leave 15 to 20%. And my mother now, dude, you want to talk about charity? If she listed tips as like charity that she get taxable, which obviously you can't.
Yeah.
But they leave 30-40%.
Oh yeah.
And that's one thing that I've always done, and I will always continue to do, is always leave 20%.
I tip more than just restaurants. I tip people at gas stations, because especially this time of the year, January, February, it's cold, man. And like,
dude, the gas station in Jersey, is that where you tip people?
Everywhere.
Everywhere?
I mean, I'll tip people at Harry's in Shahola. I'll tip people anywhere. And here's a quick story. So the one time I'm going to the doctor's in the city, and we stop at the station in Jersey, and my dad tips a guy, and my mom's like, did you just tip him? And he's like, yeah. She's like, you can do that? He's like, you can tip anybody. You can tip anybody. Make their day. And
Absolutely.
It's great, and it really turns them around sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I tipped the one guy $2. $2, right? Takes out, and he's done pumping my gas. Takes out the squeegee, starts doing my front windshield, my back windshield. I'm like, you don't have to do that. It's okay. But he kept going. Especially working in the restaurant, it really makes me more conscious with my tipping. One of my exes was like, you're tipping way too much, and she didn't work in the restaurant business. And I'm like, I don't know if you get it.
Yeah.
I could try explaining it to you, but
which gas station do you go to in Jersey? If you go to
there's a few different ones. Usually on my way to Branchville. So, are you talking about Montague? Just either BP or Valero.
Dude, I go all the way to the end.
Luke Oil?
It used to be Luke Oil. Now I think it's Golf. I think they sold it. But anyway, they kept the same staff, and there's this one guy there, short guy, white guy, and literally tip him every time I see him. Even if like sometimes you want to tip him, like you said, $2.
Yeah.
But sometimes like I don't have $2. I just have $1.
Yeah.
It's like debit cards. You know what I mean? Like how often do you carry around cash?
Exactly.
And I still give it to him. And like you said, you get the front wash, you get the back wash. You know what I mean? Like they take care of you. And they realize that. It's kind of like motivation. And one time I went with my girlfriend, and she pulled in right behind me. It was very coincidental. And not the same guy, but a different guy. I got out. Guy I've never seen. I gave him $2. I said, hey, can you take care of her car for me? I'm just going to run inside and go grab a coffee. Did her car, did my car. Just, it's the sweetest thing.
It is. And it's even better when you don't expect it. Like when you tip people and you're like, okay, I paid the money for my gas. I got $1 or $2. I'm going to give it to him because I'm feeling really great. Like I just want to make this guy's day.
Yeah.
And he just goes like above and beyond for $1 or $2. I don't know.
Now, here's a question for you.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoy doing that.
Mhm.
I thoroughly enjoy getting that feeling
Yeah.
of tipping somebody,
Mhm.
making their day.
Mhm.
Do you think that's selfish?
Not at all. Not at all. Because I mean, you're feeling pleasant. You're making them feel pleasant. What's wrong about it?
Now, there was a podcast I was listening to, and he said, "Do you do it for the feeling you get, or do you do it for them?" And I was like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "That's
a good question.
That's a good question."
It is a good
Obviously,
question.
you do it because you know, for most of the time, you feel bad for the person, or not feel
Right.
bad, but you're
Right.
like, "Hey, I could really make this day.
Yeah.
You know, make this guy's day."
Yeah.
And then on top of it, you feel nice.
Me personally, yeah, I give it to them to make them feel nice because they don't expect it.
Yeah.
Especially the guys who they got 3, 4, 5 cars there. They're going from pump to pump, and they hand you back your car with the receipt, and you just you slip them $1 or $2, and they start walking away, and you're like, no. Take this. This is for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh wow, thank you." It's great. It's just such a great feeling.
Yeah, it's quite the business to be in. Those guys are out there in the cold. You know what I mean? $2 could mean that they could run inside, grab a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and
Yeah.
that could make their day,
Mhm.
make their work day a hell of a lot better. But unfortunately, with my job, you can't take tips.
Mhm.
But the company, obviously, to my knowledge, this is my guess, they take tips, and then the company disperses it out.
Okay.
Which, that's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because with the clientele that we have,
Mhm.
see,
and
they could tip 10 grand.
Yeah. In the restaurant business, there's always controversy whether you put all the tips together and split it, or whatever you get tipped from the table, you pocket that. And where I worked, we split the tips. Whenever anybody got a tip, you put it in the bucket at the end of the night, you divide it out.
Yeah. I think that's the best way.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
We're all in it together.
Yeah. And dude, especially with the company that I work for, we are a family business.
Mhm.
Like, obviously, I'm not a part of their family, but I feel like I'm a part of the MMC family.
Right.
Like, it's very strange. Like, it's a phenomenon. And I've gotten multiple offers to leave this job for law enforcement positions.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're,
Right.
oh my God, I gotta
Not
go.
what you want.
But, pension and benefits, stuff like that. So it's pretty tough not to, like, sit there and say, yo, I'm out.
Yeah.
Private business is private business.
Right.
But you really feel like, I really feel like this place that I work at, it's like lightning in a bottle. Like, this is never going to happen again.
Yeah.
And I have to stick it out. I'm going to ride this wave. And they also pay me very amazingly. And it's amazing people to work for. The guy gives me my responsibilities.
Mhm.
He does not micromanage,
Mhm.
but that's because I do a good job.
Mhm.
And I 24/7, I think about that job. Like right now, like if I got a phone call from my security guard,
Yeah.
I would pick that up.
You stop.
You would be talking to the camera alone, and I have to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just work ethic.
Same thing if I was on call. So I'm on call every third week, all week long, especially during the weekends where it's 24 hours each day during the weekend. And it's just, so before I got this job, it's like my first real job.
Big boy job.
Big boy job, there you go. And like I expected a lot of responsibility, but experience is best teacher. And when I got there, it's just so much more than I realized. Like, you got a lot of people depending on you, especially if something goes wrong. The company can lose money if that's not fixed, like, ASAP. You know what I mean?
There's a lot riding on you, especially for IT, because, like you said,
It's a lot under the scenes, under the hood.
They could lose money,
Mhm.
or they send everyone home.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they sell with their product
Mhm.
online, and you need it.
Yeah.
You need it.
Yeah.
Advertising. And now let's real quick. We're talking about your job.
Mhm.
Let's talk about your commute to work,
I
brother.
commute to work.
Dude,
Yeah, that goes hand in hand with living upstate.
your family
Yeah.
are the all-time commuters. Your dad,
Yeah. Oh, he goes all over the place.
your dad is like the commuter of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, were you going to say something?
Nope.
Oh. Dude, he goes everywhere. He goes everywhere. I know at one point, so for the people that don't know, my dad's a postmaster in the USPS, and there was one point where he was filling in temporarily for, I don't know what the acronym stands for, but it's a POOM. Poom, and it's basically the guy above the postmaster. So a poom is like, let me put it this way. He was in charge of all the postmasters for Westchester County, Sullivan County, and Orange County. So during that time he was filling in, he had to travel all over the place, all over those counties, and just check up on the post offices.
He must have a secret radio station in his car. He doesn't even have Sirius XM. Like, he just has,
makes a joke. There's this crazy drug called Maxwell House.
Yeah, no shit. Love coffee. Now, is your dad a coffee guy, obviously?
Oh, yeah.
Or is he tea?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I think I'm the only tea drinker in the family.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't like coffee, man. No matter what it is. Just coffee flavored. Tiramisu, don't like it.
Tiramisu is one of those things where it's like, I don't know, people make a big fuss over tiramisu.
Yeah.
Like my mother and my stepfather, they get tiramisu from their friends, and I'm like, I don't know, it's not really like, doesn't hit me. So what is in tiramisu? I know that there's coffee and alcohol, right?
I don't know, but what I do know is we're getting off track from the commute talk.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. We instantly go to tiramisu.
Yeah. I don't know. My commute is 50 minutes long, and I don't touch a highway. It's all back roads. You've been over Bear Mountain, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like the Hawk's Nest on steroids. And you've been on Twin Lakes Road, right?
I haven't been on Twin Lakes Road in a long time.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. They're always doing work on it. It's Pennsylvania, so during the winter they don't salt it that well. They don't plow.
For anyone who's listening, the state of Pennsylvania does not use salt on any of the roads.
They don't.
They use...
Well, every state has their own mix. I don't know if they put down salt, sand, one or the other.
I think what it is they put down, and correct us if I'm wrong, text me, pretty sure they use coal.
Coal?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they use like coal ash and like sand. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a mixture of the two. But yeah, if anyone's listening and they Google that, text me.
What I heard from the restaurant I was working at, the guy said that Pennsylvania is so big and has so much mileage of roads and not enough population or not enough budget for the road care. They can't take care of all the roads.
Yeah.
It's just not feasible.
So
they can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But going over that thing, man, I'm surprised my car's still running.
Dude, I love your car. I love your car.
Yeah, me too. It's my first
car. You
car.
and I embody the, you use it until it's done.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? And I wasn't always like that.
Really?
Dude, I was switching cars every year.
Yeah, that's right.
I was switching cars. I sold this, I bought this, and then I bought that. It sold, traded it in. I flipped my car so many times. Luckily, I'm in a good state now. I went and bought out. Did you ever see the Mitsubishi Mirage, the little one?
I saw pictures. I didn't actually see it.
Got like 45 miles a gallon. Wow. Bought it brand new. It's like the only car you can buy.
You got that brand new?
Yeah, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so I guess it's crushed red rock.
Crushed?
Could be crushed red rock. Yeah, that could be a thing.
It does look like sand when it's down.
Yeah.
You know.
It's the only car you could buy for 13 grand right off the lot. Like, imagine buying a car for 13 grand. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, dude, this is nothing. We'd have to pay it off.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like I said, getting great gas mileage. It was a little tough to get out of. I'm 6'2". You know what I mean? It's a little low to the ground. But the one day where I said I'm done with this car, I was going up Route 17.
Was it during the winter?
During the winter.
I knew it.
It's like flurrying out. It's not even like snowing bad out. And I'm going up the Rock Hill, like Bridgeville Hill. And I'm in the center lane. There's a tractor trailer in the right lane. And we're going up, chugging along. And so we're chugging along. And the tractor trailer slides like into my lane.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, well, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
done.
Done. And luckily, I was able to just shiver over into the next lane. And he corrected himself, and he even wiggled a little bit. I thought he was going to lose it. And he didn't. And I got off the exit, and I said, I'm done. I said, it's getting 45, 50 miles a gallon worth of my life. No.
So you were worried about the safety, not necessarily the control of the car.
Yeah, and of
Okay.
course, you get any car. Is any car really going to do good against an 18-wheeler? Probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
But in that car that I was in,
hmm
has zero shot.
Yeah.
I want a little bit of shot.
Yeah.
But you know the Durango.
Yeah.
I have a Dodge Durango,
hmm
and I love it.
hmm
It's huge. It gets terrible gas mileage, 15 miles to the gallon,
Mhm.
but it's safe.
You want to know what? Not to interrupt, but I feel like I could fall in love with any car because I got my first car when I was 21. I went through all of high school, all of college, my whole educational career without a car. And just to get that first car and be able to go wherever I want, whenever I want, it was so liberating. And I know it's so cliche to say, yeah, I had freedom, but it's just such a great feeling to be, okay, tell your parents where you're going and you can go.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, paying insurance is a burden, paying for gas is a burden, but it's got to be done to have that freedom.
Of course.
So no matter what car I got, I think I'd be happy as long as I get from A to B.
A to B.
Mhm.
That's before I got into cars in high school. That's how I was.
Mhm. You were a car guy in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all my friends were. We
Yeah.
always talked. I don't know.
Were the same car guys soccer guys?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all were.
Yeah.
We were obsessed with Hondas.
hmm
B16s, B18s, and K24s.
hmm
It was fun.
Mhm.
It was fun to always talk at the lunch table, like, who has this car, and, even if you had a Honda, it's like, dude, you're in the club.
Right.
And I had a Honda, but I didn't have a fast Honda.
hmm
And then, going into college, people got jobs, people made more money,
Yeah.
and then we all bought good,
Big boy cars.
tuner cars.
Yeah.
And that's where the Evo was born.
Yeah.
I waited 8 months to buy that car.
Yeah.
8
How long
months.
did you have that?
How long did I have the Evo?
Over 2 years?
Dude, I think I bought that car in 2013,
Okay.
14.
hmm
No, it was 14. No, it was 13. Anyway, it was 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
Poured a lot of money into that thing. I made that
Yeah,
thing
sure.
fat. Yeah, I remember I took
Yeah.
you for the ride. I
You
think
took
it
me
was
for a
like-
spin like maybe a month or 2-3 months before you got rid of it.
Yeah, and I miss that thing, dude.
Yeah.
I miss it, but I had to sell it. I bought a home.
Yeah.
One toy to the next.
Yeah.
But there's a place in your life where you have to kind of experiment with those things.
Yeah, and ultimately it's just giving you satisfaction,
Yeah.
just in a different way. And I'm sure having a home gives you much more satisfaction than having a sports car.
And it sucked. I bought this Evo. I had this amazingly fast Evo, and
Mhm.
I think like 3 out of the 8 friends I hung out with, like, went out and bought like badass cars like me.
hmm
And like the rest, like, tried to soup up like little ones.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I'm like, we all had these hopes and dreams that
Yeah.
you were gonna get a Corvette and you
Yeah.
were gonna get this. And
Uh-huh.
my buddy bought an RX-7.
hmm
I don't know if you have ever seen an RX-7?
Nope.
They're so cool.
Dude, I don't know too much about cars. I could talk about computers all day, but I don't know much
Exactly.
about cars.
Yeah, that's the transition I'm going through in life right now. Is stopping cars and going into
Mhm.
working on my own, learning about that, and then computers.
Yeah.
So
Well,
let's-
they're both machines. And
Yes.
with any machine, as long as it runs efficiently, I don't know. It really gets me going. I love seeing a machine, the way it's designed, and just running so perfectly, no friction, doing what it's supposed to do.
So let's talk about your computer experience and your past, because
Okay.
you have been doing, real quick, I'm just going to set the tone.
Mhm.
You have been doing this since you were 16. I mean,
Before that.
Way even before that. I mean, you were, first off, we were playing Xbox when we were like 10 years old, and I lived in Georgia, and I'd call the house phone, and your dad would want to kill me. 'cause
Yeah,
I'd call
2
him
a.m.,
8,000 times.
playing shooter games. That guy's behind the wall.
Tell us about your computer experience.
Computer or just like electronics experience?
We could do electronics, Joe.
Okay, so it sounds so cliche, but I just love taking things apart. My mom could tell you all about it. Like, I took clocks apart, calculators, phones, just about anything. And I just want to take the screws out. Wow, there's different sizes of screws. These ones go there, that goes there. Okay, this this ribbon cable connects there, and that's what makes the screen come on. And so I was really fascinated, and so I was getting into computers. My brother Ryan, oldest brother, we had
Shout out to Ryan.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan. Also the guy who got me into soccer. But we had an HP desktop, 1 gigahertz CPU, and he took it apart right down here, right here. And I'm just like, whoa, I took all that other stuff apart, and I'm like, you're taking a computer apart? That's a lot of stuff to that, put that back together.
It's like the unknown.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you just got a bowl full of screws, and so I was so fascinated. So then I forgot how, but I learned, you can build your own computer. You can buy all the parts, put it together, install the operating system. So maybe 12th grade in high school or the summer right before college, I watched all these videos on YouTube. So I built one, and really got me going, and I brought it to school. It was great. Could play all the video games on it. That's kind of when I did away with Xbox, and you could play games for free. You don't have to subscribe. It was good for like programming and development, and it's just your own computer, your own toy. And so that one, the first one I built, is actually being used upstairs right now, and I helped Ryan build one. I helped you build one. A few kids in college, a kid up the road, and it's just so fascinating. I'm sure it's the same thing, similarly to cars, where there's just all kinds of different parts. They each do their own thing, and I don't know, I love it.
So now, one of the most important things you taught me regarding computers was an SSD.
Yes.
That was where I took my computer game to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So
not just the game, but the whole operating system.
Whole thing.
So if you put the operating system on an SSD, which is, for those who don't know, a solid state drive. So you have, and they still use hard drives today, but a hard drive, you got the disk platter, and you got the pin head, and the platter spins, and the head reads all the data, and if you want to see data over there, it's got to spin and then read it. But flash storage, it's all little magnetic doors, actually. Same thing as a USB drive, and it's so much quicker. There's no moving parts. You drop it, you don't have to worry about the disk coming off of it, and it's all instant. It's nice.
So, you helped me build my computer, and like I said, the SSD was huge. And now, for people who, let's say we didn't transition, right, from, consoles to PC.
Right.
For people who are still on consoles, explain to them what an SSD does. But obviously, you just kind of did that. But, I'll just do it. The coolest thing in the world was turning on, that you showed me, the coolest thing in the world was turning on your computer, and it instantly loaded everything.
It's right there.
It's instant. Right there. It's not Windows is updating, Windows is loading.
Yep.
There's
you don't have that logo spinning all the time.
No, there's zero spinning on any mouse. It's just instant.
You know what? I remember my first benchmark. So with the computer, I had a 1 terabyte Samsung, some hard drive, and it took 65 seconds to boot. You hit that power button, 65 seconds later, you can click the start menu. And with it, I got my SSD, 90 gig Corsair SSD, pop it in there, installed Windows, turn it on, 8 seconds.
Wow.
Hit that power button, 8 seconds later, you can click the start menu. And what a lot of people do is just to see how much they can throw at it, in Windows, you can configure it so that when you boot, you can have all these programs load, open right when you get to the desktop. So what a lot of people do is just load up as many programs as they can and see how the SSD handles it, and it's so great. It would take minutes for a hard drive to do that.
So now explain to folks what a benchmark is.
It's a little hard to put into words, but it's just like statistics,
It's a big test.
Some tests. Yeah, a test. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I don't miss consoles much. I still have a PS4.
I got an Xbox One.
My buddy plays Monster Hunter, just came out. Yep. He's like, oh my god, this is the next
My
big
roommate
thing.
played that in college, yeah.
I don't know. Just doesn't.
It's funny. I don't even know if they're watching, but my buddy Mike and Tyler, they got me on the Xbox grind.
Yeah.
Got me back on it, I should say. But they always tell me, buy this game, buy that game. Rocket League's great. Buy all these games. And I'm just like, I'm not going to buy a game I don't have the time for, where I could play free games on the computer.
Do you want to get the saddest thing in the world?
Go.
Destiny 2 came out. All my friends that I play WoW with. Dude, we're going to go play Destiny 2. Okay. Downloaded, bought Destiny 2 on my PS4, downloaded it. Have never touched my PS4 since then.
I got Destiny 2, never played Destiny 1, and same exact thing. Mike wanted me to get it. I'm like, alright, I'll buy it. Yeah, I'll buy it, I'll play it with you. And I got to the max level, just stopped playing. I don't know.
I played Destiny 1 to max level. It was cool. It's like a comparing it to WoW, it's like, you do these little 3-man dungeons, you have a, if you're playing with a buddy, maybe you're playing with 2 buddies, it's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man, there's something about WoW.
There is. I don't know. I was just about to tell you the game that I do play on Xbox. Have you, I don't know if I talked to you about it, but PUBG?
Yes.
Player Unknown
That's
Battleground. It's PC and Xbox.
Okay.
It was on PC first, and now it's on Xbox.
It's huge on PC.
Yeah. And you know what it is?
I have dabbled into it a little bit. I haven't played it at all.
It is the most suspenseful game. It'll make you sweat. It's great. So you got 100 people on a jet, right? And the jet's flying over an island, and you parachute out one by one, and you can pick where you want to go, and you can play with solo, with 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. And so you all jump out of the plane, parachute down, you touch ground, and there's guns, helmets, just all kinds of resources, some vehicles, not a lot. You'll be lucky if you can find a vehicle. And it's like Hunger Games. You just gun people down until the last man standing.
Yeah. I definitely want to play it because I've watched a lot of streamers play it, but I'm just very, I don't know, man. WoW for me is, there's so much in that game where I don't do anything else until I perfect it. I'm sure everyone who's watching this is like, shut up.
Yeah.
I have no idea about this, but I don't stop until I hit 2200 PvP. I don't stop until I down the last mythic boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just so much to do where it's I want to be the best at this specific thing in this game, and then what do you know? This is the next thing that you have to be the best at, and then new content comes out. So I'm just kind of in this ball, and it's tough for me because if I would go to, it's
PUBG.
PUBG.
Yeah, like a bar. PUBG.
If I went to PUBG and I got my ass kicked, I'd be pissed.
Oh, it happens.
Oh my God.
You'll be lucky if you're the last man standing. I played maybe 30 games by now, and me and my buddy Tyler were the last man standing 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because when you start, there's this big circle. The whole island is big circle, and then the circle gets smaller, smaller, and if you're outside the circle, you take damage. So your health comes down, and you don't know where the circle's gonna go next. So in your time too, and it's just so much. So when there's 25 people left in this tiny circle trying to gun people down, hide at the same time,
chaos.
That's exactly what it is. It's crazy. And when you get shot, for the people who play Call of Duty and Battlefield, there's no marker that tells you where you're getting shot from. You gotta hear it. You gotta look around without being seen. It's
you need
crazy.
those good headphones.
Exactly.
Razer, Turtle Beaches, or Corsair, or
the
whatever.
good stuff. Yeah.
I remember when I first got the Manowar headset, and literally all game. I'm assuming most games do this now. Is if something in the game is coming up behind you on your left side, it cues in the left side of your headset.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
You're oh shit, something's over there, and the way they have done video games now is amazing.
It's insane, especially with the VR coming. But not that I want to touch on that. Back to the headsets. It's not like you're watching a movie where that same thing happens, but when you listen to music, they don't have that surround sound kind of thing going on. And when you listen with headbuds, it's not the same.
No,
it's not the same.
Definitely not. there's like you said, there's a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
Huge difference, and I think it helped. I think it helped my game. The quality of, obviously the quality of content, but it helped me out in game. There's certain things that I do now because I hear it.
Let me tell you this. So all the way back when first Call of Duty, I played Call of Duty 4. They had this perk, this little extra thing you could put on your character where other people can hear your footsteps. You're silent, dead silence. That's what it's called. And I borrowed my buddy's Mike's headset, put it on, and you can still hear those people. And it's crazy because a lot of people were complaining about it, but you turn that volume all the way up, suspense is up, your adrenaline's going, you're like, I think there's a guy behind me. And you turn around and boom, there he is, you win the game. And it's just like, it's an advantage. I don't know.
Call of Duty is such a staple.
Yeah, right now, I think it's fallen off a lot. There's people who buy it every year, but
they will always have that crowd that buys.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
It's like for people who, and I found this a lot, for people who play console games, they switch games a ton, like you said.
Yeah.
It's like Destiny, this and that. Like they always look for the next thing. Like I
Yeah.
play with this guy named Bobby on WoW. You know Bobby.
I know Bobby.
He plays console sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his other buddies, dude, they buy games. Oh, this just released. This is released. This is released. $60 down the drain. $60 down the drain. It's like I can't get myself.
And you know what? There's a lot of games that they're just shit.
Yeah.
They're not good. And I talked to my roommate about this. So my two roommates were also computer science. We're all IT in this together. And we were talking about it one day, and he's just like, you know what? Back for Nintendo 64, all the old stuff, PS1, it's like almost every game was great, but now you have so much more content, so there's more room for shit, like shit games.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I feel like fell off.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have though? What does Nintendo do now? Do you know what Nintendo
They got the
does?
Switch.
Switch.
Switch is pretty nice. It's, you know what it is, right?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Wow. So it's basically a tablet with two sticks that slide on the end, and those are like the analog sticks and controls. But there's a dock for it, and you can hook it up to the TV, or you can just carry it around. You know what the Nintendo DS is?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's basically that on steroids.
Wow.
You can take it wherever you want, or you could dock it on the TV.
Nintendo DS, man.
But when I say it's like a tablet, you can watch Netflix, YouTube, like there's all kinds of stuff on it. Yeah, it's
smart,
pretty
though.
great actually.
Yeah, that's
It's even got a little kickstand on the back of it.
That's sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's smart though for Nintendo to do that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to switch. If you want to check something, or you said Netflix is on there.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Like, dude, who would use an iPad?
Yeah.
Why would you switch to the iPad if your Nintendo can do it?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. The way these people think, man.
Nintendo's weird. They've always been in a different side of the game.
Yeah.
They're
like, dude, you think about like first, not like first, but the first mobile was Super Mario, man.
Yeah.
Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
It's like the best of all time.
Yeah, you're right.
They always try to top it, but they can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's with anything. I mean, even movies, when sequels come out, they're not as good as the
like Fast and Furious 19.
Fast and Furious, or like if you saw Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey.
No.
You never saw that?
Never saw
That's
Dumb and
great.
Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber is great.
Dude, for the record, I'm a terrible movie person.
Oh, I'm worse than you. I know it.
Dude, everyone's like my buddy said to me, he goes, "Have you ever seen Saving Private Ryan?" Like,
I never
no,
saw
why?
that.
What's it about?
That's good. That's good.
I'm like, what's it about? He's like, shut up. He's like, get off and go watch that movie, and I did, and that was badass.
Yeah.
That was a badass movie. Man.
You ever watch Band of Brothers?
Beaches, huh?
Band of Brothers. It's an HBO miniseries about World War II. Oh my God. Talk about real, man. It's nuts.
Really?
You really get like an authentic peek through the window of what these guys went through. Like Battle of Bastogne. I'm pretty sure it was in Germany. I hope. But oh, dude, it was like sub-zero temperatures. These guys, like, they're not prepared for it, and they're in the middle of war. It's nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
People getting ran over by tanks. Oh, it's nuts. But I'm glad you watched Game of Thrones because there's people that haven't watched that, and then I feel sorry for you. Like, you got to catch up on that.
I'm like an anti-hype guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like, oh my god, like, the cool thing now is like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, to wash dishes. I'm like, I'm not going to wash dishes.
Yeah, I got a
for, like,
dishwasher.
You know what I mean? Exactly. But like with Game of Thrones, my buddies were like, dude, you need to watch Game of Thrones, you need to watch it, you need to watch it. And I didn't for like the first 3 seasons, but when I started, dude, I binge watched every season. Like, it was so good. Now I'm
me too.
obsessed with it.
I think I picked up on it when season 5 came out, and I just binge watched the whole thing. And then
eyes hurt after watching it so much.
I know. And you know, you feel bad for the people who had to wait week by week and then season by season. It's like,
geez, I couldn't wait. I have anxiety.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now, waiting for the last one.
Oh, dude. The way they ended last season was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The freaking,
I remember. Oh, the dragon.
Skull dragon or undead dragon.
Yeah.
He battle raised right out of the water.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty badass.
There's so much behind that, and I wish I had my buddy here because, I mean, he looks up all the theories on YouTube. He reads books.
That's a big thing.
It's nuts.
Like,
there's so much to it.
Alternate theories of why this happened and why that happened. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. If I had the time, I'd read the books.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought a book, which is surprising for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Called The 5 Rings.
5 Rings.
It's like it's supposed to be about like Muay Thai, like fighting, but apparently it has like these, you know, super good things that everyone should learn and things like that. A lot of UFC fighters read it, so I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So that's gonna be my next book.
I've been getting back into reading actually. So I got. I think it was over the summer. I got a book written by a guru from India, and it really taught me a lot of things. I'm not even done with it yet, but it's great. And then I picked up another book by, actually, this came out recently, Jordan Peterson. I think it's called 12 Key Things to Life or 12 Points for Life, and I haven't started yet, but I'm excited.
Talk about a guru.
Yeah, this Indian guru, I got to tell you about him. He's great. He's great. It's
poor Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, getting a lot of fire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy Canadians out there, man.
It's crazy how like people try to paint him as like an evil guy, like a really wrong guy, but
you think something different nowadays. It's like you're like hang him.
Yeah, he's a witch.
Yeah, seriously, it's pretty crazy. And I mean, Canada for one. Canada's, you know,
they should be more open than
us. I don't know
us.
if anybody's Canadian watching this, but you know, there's a lot of people, you know, that think, you know, Canadians, you know, above the border, you know, they do their own thing, they talk how they act, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is they're changing their national anthem. Did you hear about that?
No.
They changed their national anthem. I guess it's something along the lines of, in the song, it mentions he or him or man or you know, whatever it is, and they're changing it to like a
gender neutral.
thing.
No way.
Yeah. Imagine changing the United States national anthem.
I can't.
I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's history.
It is history.
You know what I mean? There's certain things, you know, that, you know, I'm okay with changing, but there's certain things that you can't.
No.
You know, like
You're right.
monuments and shit like that. Like, dude, I mean, let's be real. Like, Civil War was a crazy time.
Oh, yeah.
And these people were like, oh my god, knock down statues. No. Go read about that guy. And there's some bad guys. You know what I mean? I'm not claiming every person who has a statue is a good guy. It's not the case. But there's history involved. The Civil War was a crazy time. Our ancestor fought in the Civil War.
Yeah, I know. That's
I
crazy.
think it's Augusta or Augusto.
Augustus something.
Yeah.
Graham would know.
Lost his arm.
Yeah.
Lost his arm.
Can you imagine that?
Yep. And then done with the war. Just go back to life.
You know, there's this rumor. I really haven't looked into it too much, but Romans Inn, the bar in Shohola, Pennsylvania,
Romans,
was
baby.
apparently it was a hospital during the war, and they would do amputations there. Train track is right across the street outside of it, and you look at it, it says Civil War. Like, it just gives you that feeling. It's weird.
I've had crazy times in Romans. So
Must
has
have.
everyone else in our family.
Yep.
Oh my God. Romans is a small bar.
Yep.
For the people that don't know, very small bar right over the border in PA, and it's very old school.
You gotta find it. There's no advertisement.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just pass by. You gotta find it.
Basically, you go down this road to make a U-turn, and you're like, oh my God, there's a bar here.
Yeah, exactly. You go in, and I remember we were there the one time, me and my brothers, and it's just us. And the guy serves us. We're just shooting the breeze at the bar. No, we're playing pool, and there's a stove in there. And he opens up this closet, right? And he's like, excuse me, guys, I gotta fill the stove. And we're like, okay. This guy comes out with a shovel full of coal. It's just a coal closet. You open the door and there's coal to the ceiling. And he's gotta fill the stove. It's just so... I can't find a word for it.
Coal is one of those things. My sister and my brother-in-law use coal to heat their house.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he used to own a company, and they used to deliver coal, and, you know, I guess in the coal world, I could be wrong, I'll probably get yelled at, but you kind of skim off the top, you know what I mean? Like, a load is a certain amount of weight, so if you have over a certain amount of weight, you skim off the top, you know, you leave it at your house, so, you know, you could put it in your house.
Or put it on the roads.
And, dude, it's the warmest heat. Their house is so warm, and granted, it's open. Like, they have really tall ceilings, and you've been there.
Yeah,
Lots and lots of glass. Anytime you have lots of glass, you're gonna get a draft.
Yeah,
and coal's the warmest heat, man.
Yeah,
Their bathroom floor is heated by the coal. I forgot how.
I didn't know that.
I don't know. Maybe it's just warm because it's warm downstairs. But
I gotta talk to her about that, but we better use it while we can.
Yeah,
because
it's not gonna be around.
No, it's not. And I don't know, not to get too crazy talk, but I don't know. I don't like having a society where we just pick up these things where we ruin the environment. I don't know. Especially being an Eagle Scout, like, just in living around here, it's crazy. You don't have that perspective in the city as much.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's people that don't have it in the city, because there are, but it's just more dominant here.
Yeah.
Being around it all the time.
Yeah. It's I think I'm kind of, when it comes to like that, like EPA stuff, I don't like regulation a lot. I don't like regulation a lot, like in government, right? I think the government should stay out of most of our life, but there's certain things that the government should stay in our life for.
Right.
And I like the EPA. There's certain things that they need to, you know, keep control of. Because, hey, we got one planet, and, you know, we got to take care of it.
Yeah,
and not that I'm anti, you know, you can't use oil, you can't use coal. You know,
yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
We definitely have to preserve it.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, like you said, we got one planet. There's a limited amount of resources, and it's not going to be here forever. And what my point is, I just don't like how we get these things and reward people financially to the point where we're destroying the planet, and people have cited that because they're too focused on the rewards.
Yeah.
You know,
this is very corrupt.
Yeah.
Corrupt species
Right.
that we are.
I don't. But even on the contrary, you look at solar panels, and that's still not harmful, but it still takes resources to make those solar panels. You know what I mean?
Of course.
That's one thing I always tell everybody. You know, I don't have my own house yet, but when I do get my own house, it's the first thing I want: solar panels.
So, I'm getting a bunch of texts. The light on the video, it keeps like flashing.
Yeah, I see that.
You see that? But it's not. We don't have a light in here. What's doing that?
It's probably the camera. It's probably the camera.
So
How long have we been going?
What's that?
How long have we been on?
I don't know.
An hour. It's 1 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly an hour.
So what can we do to fix that? I don't even know if there is.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe,
know.
I don't know. wonder if we should put the lamp over here. Anyway,
Mhm.
I just don't want to go dark on her.
Should we turn off the lights for like 30 seconds and turn them back on? That might not help. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, they're gonna have to suck it up for this one.
Yeah.
We'll fix it. We'll fix it next time.
It might just be the live view on the camera.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the EPA and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things I think we should, obviously, we're at this point in life where we need gas, we need oil to fuel the homes,
Mhm.
we need this and that for the cars. It's a way of our life now.
Yeah.
There's no turning back.
Mm-hmm. Come a little closer.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
There's no turning back now. And I have to fix this. There's a couple things I have to...
Yeah.
There's no turning back now with oil and gas and whatnot. So I think it should be regulated, but not to the point where it's restricting business. Because I think creating an America that is, self-sufficient. We don't need this person's oil. We don't need, we don't need to, give this country a certain millions and millions of dollars when we could do it ourselves. But there needs to be restrictions and there needs to be regulation, but not over the top regulation. Like that was like my biggest thing with the previous administration is the amount of regulation. Now I think he went over the top, but I don't like under.
Right.
Like I don't want it all to go away. But there needs to be a level, reasonable balance, very reasonable. There's protesters for the Keystone Pipeline, and now I've done a lot of research on the Keystone Pipeline. I think it's good for America, but it needs to be safe.
Yeah.
There's certain statistics of oil spills when oil travels.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have issues.
Listen, that stuff is down in the ground for a reason. So when it comes up, it disturbs a lot.
Exactly. And, there's there needs to be safety protocols, and they need to be followed very, very, strictly.
Yeah.
We, like I said, like you said, we got one planet.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that our country is that, we're making the moolah. We're not paying other people, because, dude, we live lightning. I was talking about lightning in a bottle before.
Yeah.
We live lightning in a bottle, man.
That's all life is.
There's no country like us.
There's no planet like us.
This is true.
Look at us. People, you look up, you see miles into the sky. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, we're just these itty little bit of ant-like creatures on the Earth's crust, and we only have so much space to the top of the atmosphere where it's just perfect. It's just a perfect atmosphere for us to thrive and survive.
Yep.
And
we got lucky.
We really did. We hit the jackpot.
Next time, if anybody's listening, next time you're outside on a nice spring or summer day, look up into the sky. You'll see these beautiful stars without, obviously, a non-cloudy night. And that is unlimited. There is no stop.
There's no end to that.
So imagine what else is out there. And like you said, you think we're just, in the grand scheme of things, we are the tiniest thing in this universe, the solar system, and multi-solar systems and multi-universes. And dude, everyone worries about oh my god, this outfit, my car is broken down.
I'm not gonna get to work on time,
I'm getting bitched at. You know what I mean? Blah 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 blah. No, a meteor could hit the Earth and we're toast.
Just like that.
Boom.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a big YOLO guy.
Yeah.
I don't like the term "you only live once," but you kind of got to make best with what we do, because in the grand scheme of things, we could be swallowed up by a black hole.
Yeah, anything can happen.
You know what I mean? It's boom. It's we're going.
I don't know.
So we got to make best of what we got.
That might be where I differ from you. I am a YOLO guy. I mean, literally, you only live once, and it's such a brief life.
It is.
It's such a brief life, especially when you're having fun. Things just fly by.
I think, regarding my job, someone would call that a YOLO move. It's not the safe route. It's not the pension with the benefits. It's not the safe way to go.
Right.
But for me, it was I only live once. I want to be a happy person. I love my job and I make good money. I'm going to roll with this. Someone would call that a YOLO move instead of being safe.
I mean, I think the ultimate decision was like, okay, which is going to be better for my well-being?
Yeah.
And sometimes, those benefits would help you out health-wise, but you might be more comfortable with option A than option B, you know?
Absolutely. One thing that I've learned about is insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God you have insurance.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you have health insurance,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh. There's a family member of Corinne's, and this person was on the Obamacare,
Mm-hmm.
and he went and got an MRI. He was having some head issues,
Mm-hmm.
and the copay for an MRI was like $8,000, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Wow.
it covered like $1,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of it was copaid. And
Yeah.
then, of course, medical companies, medical billing companies, they'll bill you,
Mm-hmm.
for a minimum payment every month.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine that, like,
No.
dude, I have a nice bump on my head.
Yeah.
And I went last year because I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
I swear to, I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm biting the dust. This is
Mhm.
it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Because it started to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It started to hurt my head. And so I went to the hospital, my mother, my
Mhm.
girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and we're sitting there waiting. And then, listen to this story.
Okay.
It's a young doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, all right. Off the bat, you're like, all right, he's young.
What's he know?
What's he know?
Yeah.
Dude, he comes up to me. Seems to be the problem. Like, not arrogant, but like quietly
Mhm.
arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes up to me and he goes, what's the problem? Well, I got this bump on my head and it's actually really, really hurting. Like,
Mhm.
it hurts bad. Like,
Mhm.
it feels like someone's drilling something in my head.
Oh.
And he's like, okay. And I'm like, dude, I'm a little afraid it's a brain tumor.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally, this 28-year-old guy, takes his hand and goes like this on the top of my head.
Yeah.
He goes, that's not a tumor. I said, what?
How do you know?
I said, what? I said, dude, I need a CAT scan to double check.
Yeah.
Dude, he didn't say dude. He goes, sir, it's not a tumor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I understand you think it's not a tumor.
Yeah.
You don't have fucking X-ray,
Show me.
MRI, CAT scan vision
Yeah.
there.
Show me it's not a tumor.
I need to make sure it's not a tumor because I'm
Mhm.
not sleeping.
Yeah.
And would not give it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Would not give it to us. Would not give it to us.
Really?
Then my girlfriend and my mom and me, all three of us kind of pressured him into doing it. We kind of got a little nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing he said, he's like, you're going to go for a CAT scan and it's going to come back and it's not going to be a tumor.
Yeah.
I said, prove it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it. He let me take a CAT scan. Pretty crazy experience.
Never had
Was in
one
and
done.
out.
Mm-hmm.
And no tumor. Thank
Nice.
the good Lord.
Nice.
So I went up to him and I'm like, hey, thanks, man. But I needed that CAT scan because, dude, I was not sleeping for like 2 days.
Yeah.
I felt like someone was. He gave me antibiotics. Apparently, it's above the skull and under the
Mhm.
skin. It's something.
Mhm.
I don't know. He told me I had to go to
There's not a lot of
dermatologist.
space there either.
Yeah.
Like between the top of your skin and your skull.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
it's like a. If it grows, I'm just gonna get a facelift over time. Go with that.
Some
Richie-
natural Botox.
Richie, your skin is like really nice at 55 years old. Yeah, can't tell you the secret.
That's good. I don't know. I've only been to the ER in the hospital for diabetes, and it was twice. So the one time it was my ex picks me up from college, and we're going down to her place in Long Island, and I don't know. I just felt so nauseous. When your sugar gets high, you get nauseous, and
Yeah.
I actually know the science behind that. So real quick, there's this, at least how I understand it, there's this big nerve cell on the bottom of your stomach, and that nerve controls when your food passes from your stomach, keep going through your digestive tract. And when your sugar's high, that nerve isn't working too well, so whatever is in your stomach stays in your stomach, and it just rolls around and keeps going. So whatever, nonetheless, so going down to Long Island, and I feel nauseous, and I'm just not feeling good. We get to her house maybe around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, give myself a shot full of insulin and go to sleep. Wake up, I'm throwing up, more insulin, go back to sleep.
You said you threw up?
Threw up, wake up again, threw up again, more insulin, go back to sleep, wake up, threw up again, I threw up 7 times
Yeah,
that
that's
night,
not
right? So it's 7 a.m. by now, and I'm like, you gotta take me to the hospital.
Yeah,
I'm giving myself all this insulin. I'm not dropping. So I go, and I was there for like 2-3 days, and they wouldn't let me use my insulin pump.
Really?
Really. So I think it was because they were unfamiliar with how it worked, so they just told me to take it off. They were giving me insulin, yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine. Now, obviously, there's a way to do it besides your pump.
Right.
But imagine having like a new piece of technology, like in your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, we don't know what that is. We're
Yeah.
just gonna stop it, and we're gonna do the old technique.
Mm-hmm. And you know, a lot of them were older. They're on the older side, so I don't think they're trying to keep up with everything that's coming at them.
Which is not okay.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Especially when it comes to a severe
Mm-hmm.
thing like diabetes.
Yeah. Thank God we got people like Corinne studying up on this stuff.
For sure. Better be studying. She better be listening to this podcast and studying. Just kidding. But yeah, man, that's diabetes has been obviously a big part of who you are, and I love
Mm-hmm.
how you take diabetes. Some would call it a setback,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of molded that into a positive change,
Mm-hmm.
like something as silly as making a name
Yeah.
on a video game,
Yeah.
a glucose guru,
Yeah.
claiming that you're a guru of the glucose.
Yeah,
because you
absolutely.
are
I mean,
a diabetic.
dude, I always try to be pleasant,
You
no matter
have
what
to-
it is.
It's that mindset. You
Mhm.
have to be positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes you you, man.
I mean, part of it, I'm sure, was because I was diagnosed at such a young age. Like, it's like when you get a new dog, you get them fixed when they're, really young, as opposed to getting them fixed when they're a man. You know what I mean? They know what they're losing out on. So, like, I was diagnosed when I was 3 or 5 years old, and I don't know. It's like I feel like a normal person until my sugar goes high,
Yeah.
But you got to deal with the hand you're dealt with.
Of course.
And I don't know. I always try to be as pleasant as I can be.
Yeah, I think that's one thing everyone can do a better job at is being nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Being
Mhm.
more positive.
Yeah.
I think that would change the world.
I mean,
significantly.
there's all kinds of name for it. Happiness, joyfulness, peacefulness, but essentially it's just pleasantness and unpleasantness. And did you know when you're actually unpleasant, the quality of your blood actually changes, becomes a little more toxic. There's more friction in your body.
Your body produces certain chemicals when you're happy.
Yeah.
When you're sad.
Yeah, everything's chemistry.
Oh, there's a lot going on there.
Mhm.
Now, I just lost my topic. Right out of the mind.
I hate when that
I'm
happens.
too young for that. Too young for
Yeah,
that.
I hope that doesn't get worse when we get older.
I really wanted to touch on that too.
Mm.
Anyway, when I get my mind back,
Hmm.
I'll blab it out.
You're going to think about it at 2 a.m. It's just
Yeah.
going to pop up. You're going
That's
to go to the bathroom
That's
at
what
2
I
a.m.
need.
Oh, that's what I want to talk about on the podcast.
Have you heard of Twitch?
Yeah.
So do you watch any streamers at all?
Not any specifically, but like when, one of the games I play is Dota 2. Haven't played in a while, but every year during August they have an international tournament.
It's so cool.
Teams from all over the world come to play in Washington.
Oh, I love that. I
Seattle,
love watching
Washington.
tournaments at competitive nature.
It's great, and it's so competitive. You know Jeremy Lin plays Dota?
Really?
Yep.
The basketball player.
Yep, Jeremy Lin.
Oh,
And
shit.
he was making parallels between it, so it's 5-on-5, basketball's 5-on-5. Everyone's got their own certain, role to play, and same thing with Dota. But the international tournament for Dota 2 is it's got the biggest prize pool for all video
I can
games.
only imagine.
And it's just, I really want to go this year too.
For people who don't know what Dota is a video game that's been around for a long time.
Yes, so there was Dota 1, I never played that, but then it came out to be Dota 2, there was a beta, and now there's Dota 2 Reborn is what they call it, but it's essentially 5-on-5, there's this big map, and for anyone that played League of Legends, it's similar, but it's better, that's my opinion, but everyone's got their own role to play, there's buildings you gotta destroy, and each team has they call it the Ancient, and when that's destroyed, the game ends. There's no other way to end the game. and it just takes so much teamwork. If one person's not doing their part, same thing as basketball, you could lose.
Yeah.
It's like playing five on four.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a big part about it, and dude, that I get so frustrated with WoW
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be in a 3v3 arena and someone doesn't get a sap or get a blind or
Yeah.
get a sheep off, and you're
Right.
like, dude, that's all you had to do.
Yeah, you had one job.
I have to reel myself in when I get like that, because I get super competitive. That's why I love to watch the super competitive stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
wanna
crazy. I
learn.
mean, the way these people think in Dota, there's like high ground and low ground. Positioning is everything. I always say it's a mix between like soccer and chess. So soccer and chess, because you're always playing on the same field, but every game is different. Every single game is different, and it's just unlimited possibilities. There's over 100 people you can play, and no one has the same move, and there's just so many different flavors of the way the game can progress, and it's great.
Not to change the subject, but I remembered.
Okay.
'Cause we were talking about health and
Mhm.
whatnot. Alcohol.
Right.
Everyone in my family roasts me
Hmm.
because with this one time, I brought up an article
Hmm.
and it said, the basics about alcohol and, so let me ask you a question. What
Okay.
is alcohol to the body, to you?
To the body, it's a poison, it's a toxin, and it overloads your liver, and that's how you get drunk.
Okay. I said that same sentence, essentially,
Hmm.
to my family, and everyone laughed at me.
Yeah.
Everyone laughed at me, and now it's a joke. It's like a thing. Like, we'll go over to my mother's house and we'll say, "Anyone want poison?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course it's funny,
Hmm.
but how do you? Oh, somebody just died.
I didn't know what that was.
Let me get your take on alcohol consumption
Okay.
in general.
Okay.
How many times?
Hmm.
A day, a week, a month, or
Me personally?
Yeah, and then
So,
it says my mic is off.
it's off.
Am I blanking here? I'm on mute, people.
That's why. Yeah, you sound great. That's why, because you sounded so quiet.
Oh my gosh.
My mic was picking
I gotta
up.
stop touching my mic.
How'd that happen?
Now I can hear him. Hopefully
did
that
that?
wasn't so.
Who did that? No, I'm kidding.
Thank you, Tori.
Alcohol to me, so it's a little hard because it loosens your psychological structure. So people are just attracted to it, and especially me, dude. I love a cold Guinness. You know that.
Oh,
Guinness
of
is so
course.
great. But
And don't get me wrong, I love a nice glass of Montepulciano,
Yeah.
or when I'm with my dad, I'll drink a nice old fashioned
Right.
with an orange in it. You always need that.
right, but stepping away from that, almost everything it provides you can be done by yourself. So essentially, do you want your happiness and all that pleasantness that you get from drinking, do you want it on push start or self start? If you got it on push start from the alcohol, you're damaging your body. If you got it on self start, you got everything it's giving you without
Absolutely.
the damage to your body.
So my theory is, it is poison.
Mhm.
It's good poison. Occasionally.
Yeah.
I like to have a drink like once, twice a month.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to do it every day. Definitely don't want to do it every week. But oh hey, you did a good job at your event. Let's
Right.
have a glass of wine.
Right.
Oh, it's somebody's birthday. Let's have an old fashioned.
Right.
But to me, I feel like the similarity of it is your car can do 100 miles an hour
Right.
because it can handle that.
Right.
So should we drink poison because our body can handle it? It's still dangerous. So
Yeah.
like the parallel is, I could do 200 miles an hour in my Evo or
Right.
a Corvette or whatever it is.
Right.
Is that safe?
No.
Our
If you're on
bodies,
track, yes. But I know what you're talking about.
our bodies
Mhm.
can handle,
A lot.
a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Does that make it safe?
No.
That's
I see what
my-
you're saying.
see what
yeah,
I'm saying?
Yep, I see where you're getting
So
at.
that's kind of where my take on alcohol is. And like I said, I'm not like, anti-alcohol or anything, because there's nothing like a good drink.
Oh, yeah.
You need it every once in a while. But I feel like if you have it all the time, man, it just diminishes it.
It really does. It's a really
And the
limited life.
effects of your body, like you said, the liver,
Yeah.
dude, kills it, man.
I mean, if something goes wrong, especially like with us diabetics, like it makes kidney transplants not too probable of happening successfully.
yeah.
It just ruins a lot. alcoholics actually, like, major alcohol consumption causes brain shrinkage. So the more grooves your brain has, apparently the more intelligent you are. I'm sure there's more we could dig deep into on that. Yeah. So when you look at a brain, all the grooves on it, all the folds and everything, when you have massive alcohol consumption, the brain shrinks, which causes less grooves. Yeah, you get the point. So I don't know. I don't like it too much, but like you said, I probably have a drink at least once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like getting drunk. There's times where I crack a beer, or like I have a cup of wine and I'm like I wanted this, but now I don't. It doesn't taste too good. Like, you just don't want it.
You like your Guinness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guinness is very tasty.
Yeah, and it's actually one of the healthier beers. It's low in carbs, low in calories. So one of my favorite beers before I started drinking Guinness was Blue Moon. I love Blue Moon.
An orange.
Yep, with a little splash of orange or OJ in it. Oh, it's so good. But a bottle of Blue Moon has 25 carbs. Guess how many carbs a can of Guinness has?
How much?
I asked my mom the same question. She's like, 40? 35?
It's very thick.
9 carbs.
Wow.
125 calories. Really low.
Huh. So, speaking of carbs, I feel like carbs in general are there's no doubt that processed carbohydrates are bad for you.
Right.
That's
right.
Been proven. It is what it is.
We're in agreement.
But we still eat processed carbohydrates and carbohydrates in general. It is what it is. I feel like if you, like the death sentence today, 2018 for your body, the worst thing. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just yell at me because I'm getting texts of this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad.
No, you're good. You're perfect. You're good.
That if you in the morning, let's say you have a bagel, right? So you have processed carbohydrate.
Yep.
During lunch, you have 2 pieces of pizza.
Yep.
For dinner, you go home and you have, pasta with red sauce and chicken or penne al vodka, we'll just say, right?
One of my favorites, yeah.
So like your entire day was filled with processed carbohydrates, and then on top of the pasta that you ate, you're having a couple beers.
Yeah, right.
What does that do to the body?
I mean, I don't know the in-depth explanation, but not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It is. There's certain things where eventually when we get bigger and bigger, because we will get bigger and bigger.
What do you mean bigger and bigger?
Like the podcast.
Oh, okay. I don't know if
I'd like to get like a nutritionist on, because I think, gluten is terrible, and I'm not gluten intolerant.
Right.
But like when I have gluten-free pasta, I don't get after you eat a bowl of penne al vodka, you're like, oh my god!
So
you sit back and you're like, oh
yeah.
You get that Jabba the Hutt feeling.
Yep.
You don't get that with gluten-free pasta. You don't feel that. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's effects of processed carbohydrates, especially with gluten, that leaves a lasting effect on your body.
Oh yeah.
And it's the number one cause of weight gain.
There's so much of that. I mean, despite food, you look at deodorant.
Oh my god, dude! The stuff they put in deodorant. Go look at your deodorant ingredients. See what they put in.
If you don't have, one of the things my mom recommended was Arm & Hammer deodorant, because it doesn't have aluminum in it.
Absolutely.
But I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that the aluminum in deodorant is one of the causes of breast cancer.
Sure is, 100%.
Yep. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff, and I feel like it's just part of the American society, maybe other societies in the world, where we just get filled so much of this garbage food, and it's so hard because you got people who, back to the financial side of things, who don't have the money to pay for organic foods, go to Trader Joe's, this, that, and the other thing, where they eat fast food for dinner. You know what I mean? Multiple times a week.
Oh, dude, there's times when you eat fast food and you're like,
I haven't had fast food in a while.
Good for you. Don't do it.
And no, I don't. But last time I had it, I stand corrected. I had it the night of your engagement party. I went to one.
We did too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
As good as that food was at the party. But you feel like crap after. You don't have it for a while, then you eat it, and like that feeling that you were talking about when you have all that pasta. When you're full of fast food, you feel like crap.
You need a nap instantly. It's like you feel like garbage.
It's almost like your body wants to recover from all the garbage you just ate.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got McDonald's that night too. 'Cause, dude, we didn't get to eat.
Yeah.
Especially Corona.
Because you were making the rounds, yeah.
Making the rounds, shaking hands. I didn't want to eat because I shook 100 hands.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get sick.
Yeah.
Did you see I bought the emergency stuff on Snapchat? I put that up there.
I think I saw it, yeah.
I bought the emergency packets. I was chugging 3 or 4 of them because I was not getting sick.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I always try to power through that stuff. Whether I'm, obviously if I'm sick, luckily I can work from home. But, like, it's just so rough. Like, you just got to power through it. And I know, like, at the party, you and Kareem were talking about being babies when you're sick. Nah, you just got to power through it. That's how I look at it. You feel it coming on, you take that emergency, you drink as much water as you can, do everything in your power.
And that's why, everyone calls me a baby. But that's what I do. I don't move. I stay in my bed. I hide, like you said, I hydrate like an animal. I sleep.
Yep.
And, hey, you call me a baby, but I want to get sick. I want to get unsick as fast as possible.
Right.
Right.
I mean, if you got to go to the doctors and get a prescription, that's something else. Sometimes you do need something external to help that.
So your doctor, where's your primary care doctor? Because you're out here in the woods.
I am. So the only doctor I regularly go to is down in Manhattan, the city, my endocrinologist. And I actually just got to switch because of my age. And great guy, really knowledgeable Indian man, and he's just so pleasant to talk to.
So now, for the folks listening, we live in Sullivan County. I don't want to give the exact town away, but what's the drive from here to Manhattan?
Hour 45.
Yeah.
2 hours for traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
And
long
last
way.
time I went in December was the first time I went by myself, driving to Manhattan. What an experience.
Yeah. I've had to drive to Long Island. Trailering my Evo alone. I've done it with
Yeah, how's that LIE?
But yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
I mean, I wasn't terrified just because when I was at Pace University, my ex lived in Long Island, so I would take the train from Pace to Grand Central, walk to Penn, take the train from Penn out to Long Island, and it was like a 3-hour trip. So I'd walk through the city. I was so used to it, Graham's freaking out about everything.
Have you heard about all the train stuff going on, man?
Yeah.
Trains are crashing left and right.
I know. I don't want you to over-exaggerate. It is a lot compared to what happened in the past, but I think it was like four trains, right?
It's a lot.
Yeah, especially with a lot of cargo and people on there. Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's pretty crazy.
And the one that happened in Washington, I think the guy was like doing, like everything was as it should be.
Yeah.
And it still happened.
Yeah. That's when I clock out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I might stand corrected. Now that I remember, that train in Washington that crashed a month or two back it was its first ride, brand new train, first ride, and that happened.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Did I tell you the airplane story?
Which?
My horrible experience on an airplane.
I think so. Tell it again.
I
love hearing this.
I think I told you this. So we're on our way back from Disney, right? And I told this at the Super Bowl party at your brother's house. So we're on our way back from Disney, and side note, I think it's the outside light. So if we get a curtain,
yeah, I want to get rid of that curtain.
I got one at the house.
Okay.
So we're on our way back from Disney, and I've flown my whole life. I've flown JetBlue from Florida, New York, Florida, not hundreds, but plenty of times.
Yeah.
And so I never had this fear of flying. And we're on our way back from Disney. We're like, Virginia, halfway there. And all of a sudden, I shit you not, this guy gets on the loudspeaker and goes, "Everyone needs to get in their seat, put their seatbelt on, blah, 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 like, do not move, like, this is a blah, blah, blah," freaking out. And, like, I'm a pretty good, people, I can recognize kind of what someone's about. He was frantic. He was like kind of scared.
He's got to get his shit
screaming, together. So I instantly picked up on that, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, it's over. We're done. It was nice. I hope Disney was worth it.
Yeah.
And the lights go off. Everyone's like,
the lights
after
go off?
he, oh yeah,
purposely.
Oh yeah. After he said that, everyone did the big gasp, like, oh!
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my god! Like, people are crying, people are praying, there's people behind me, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm praying at this point, and I'm like, please, please don't take this plane down.
Yeah.
10 minutes goes by, and
Probably
now,
felt
at
like
this
2
point,
hours.
It felt like 18 hours, bro.
Yeah.
My heart,
Yeah.
I've never experienced that pain in my life. It was like, it hurt. Every beat, it hurt.
Yeah.
That's how anxious
Probably
I was.
having like a low-key anxiety attack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. And, like, 10 minutes later, like, dude, the stewardess, excuse me, before that, the stewardess are, like, strapped in themselves. Like, they have their own seats in the back. And they're like, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, this is real. So 10 minutes goes by, and they get a phone call, the stewardess in the back, and then she gets up, and she walks to the front of the plane. So I said to myself, all right, she's walking, we're not going down, you know, we're not, you know, they haven't got on the loudspeaker, nothing's crazy happening yet. So 5 minutes goes by, and they finally start handing out cookies. Now, at this time, it's still seatbelt on, no lights on, like, whatever. And they start handing out cookies and the chips and the drinks and shit. And she comes up, and she, you know, what would you like? And blah, blah, blah. And I look at her, and I'm like, are we going down? I'm like, what is going on? And she's like, everything's good now. We're okay.
Nice.
So about 10 minutes later, lights go on. Boo, boo. You know, he makes a sound. The speaker comes on, and he's like, well, folks, you know, sorry about that. Da, 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 da. We went straight through a thunderstorm. So apparently they, you know, I don't know how it's last minute. Or if you're supposed to go around a thunderstorm. I could be wrong. Maybe they're trained to go through the thunderstorm directly through the middle of it, or if you're supposed to go around. I would have to assume you go around it, but we went right through it. And when I got off the plane, I really wanted to say to the co-pilot, I really wanted to be like, you scared the shit out of everybody on this plane. Just because his simple delivery of his words. Like, just screaming, frantic.
So besides that scare factor of him telling you guys that the light's going off, stewardess being sitting down, did you have turbulence?
Oh, absolutely. And of course we had really bad turbulence, right before he said that, and then right after that, and then 10 minutes goes by, and you feel a little, and you think you're going down, you know, because you're already so hyped up, you're so tense, and you know, any sound, you're thinking, oh, there goes one of the jets. You know, there goes one of the engines. We're going down.
So, you know, I've never been on a plane. I've been on one plane, and it was a 5-passenger plane.
Really?
A little thing. Dude, it had crankable windows like
That's
an old
sick.
car. It was pretty cool.
Did they have to weigh you to get on it?
I don't think so, no.
Really?
It was for Boy Scouts, but my roommate in college, he was telling me about his flying experience for the first time, and he gets up there, and he's looking around, looking out the window, and he's like, we're not supposed to be up here. We're not meant to be up here. You know, we're supposed to be on the ground. And he was just freaking out about it. But that's crazy. I could not imagine what that's like. And actually, I might be going on my first flight this year. So one of my roommates from college, freshman year, he was in the Marines, and now he just got hitched to another one of our friends, and they live in Cali, and they invited me out. So, and I have this desire to travel, and I want to go so bad. So I think it's a perfect opportunity. And
what part of California?
I forget the name. You know what? Let me grab my phone.
Yep.
But another thing I'm going to be doing is really want to go skydiving this year.
You're going to go
Sussex.
skydiving?
Yep, I'm going to do it. It's like decided. I really want to go last year, but I don't know. It was
so
like
now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why?
It's a thrill.
Huh?
I want to do it. The view, the thrill. Not a lot of people do it, so the people who are apprehensive about it, you could kind of prove them wrong about how wonderful of an experience it is. So when I was working at the restaurant in Delhi, I met this guy named Ron, and Ron Colden, awesome guy. He's into the cars. He fixes up buggies a lot, but he went skydiving, and he came in the morning. He was going to go in Sussex, and he's just like, I'm jumping out of a fucking plane today. This old guy with long white hair, and so he did it. Comes back the next day. I'm like, Ron, how's skydiving? And he's just like, it was great. The scariest moment is right when you fall out. 5
course.
seconds after that, he said it's bliss. It's the most wonderful thing ever.
It's crazy.
And he said he just wants to tell all the people, how wrong they are to be afraid of it.
Of course.
But so my buddy lives in San Clemente, which is in the middle of LA and San Diego. So I don't know much about the geography of Cali, but
I hope it's still around after the fires. Man, that was crazy. That I guess that fire moved like a football field, like a second or something.
That's
like
crazy.
That, or like a minute. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wiped out a ton of California.
Yeah.
But they say that it's like the only, I forgot the percentage, of course, but anyway, they say it's mostly man error when things go wrong in a skydive. So it's like so rare that your chute does not pull.
Right.
Like that equipment, is false.
I got an exact example of this. So the same guy, Ron, who's telling me, when he comes back from Sussex after skydiving, they said that the crew took him up, told him this story. They always have a cameraman. People can pay a little extra to have themselves recording stuff, and they said this. They heard this story where this cameraman goes up, and these guys jump like between 5-10 times a day, and they're so used to it. So he gets up there, he jumps, got the camera. He didn't have his chute. He died. He didn't have his chute.
He died?
He died, yeah. So that's what I mean, human error. Yeah.
How the hell didn't he have a chute?
They said he screamed the whole way down. Yep. He's just so used to it. I mean, you get in the car, sometimes you get in the car, forget the keys, right?
That's so true.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I will root you on, buddy.
wait,
I'll
man.
be looking at you down here.
Yeah.
God bless, man.
My dad's like, I'll take you. And mom's like, you going up? And he's like, no, he's terrified of heights. My dad told me this one story. He was in the Marines, and he goes to the shop right on base, I think, comes out with groceries, and his buddies are there, and they're like, Burns are going up. And he's like, what do you mean? They're like, we're taking you up. Come on. He said he had to leave everything there, and he brought Ziplocs, so, right, he got Ziplocs in shop, right, and he comes out, so he brings them. They go up. Man, they're doing loops, flipping upside down, flying upside down, and he said he threw up in almost every single Ziploc bag he had. But he's terrified. He's so scared of heights. But he said he'd take me and just, watch.
I was never really afraid of heights, and I'm still not. My uncle, he was a roofer before he worked for the county, and he does, he did almost everyone in our family's like.
Who's that? Tony?
Uncle Tony.
Okay.
And we would redo roofs. It was like a family thing, it kind of still is.
Right.
And just being on a roof, you're like, yeah, that is a long way down, but I'm not scared of that because I have control of what happens. I have control of if my body accidentally gets down there. You got to be safe.
Right.
You got to be very precise, and I feel like if you take your time and you're not rushing,
it's just fear's a big thing.
Fear's a huge
Fear's a big thing. And you know what? It's
the what if too.
Yeah. So fear to me is, so you can have fear about past experiences, but fear is something, you're fearing something that hasn't happened yet. So if your mind is stuck on something that hasn't happened yet, something that hasn't happened yet is non-existent. So if you're fearing something that's non-existent,
the hell are you
what's
doing?
that, insanity?
Absolutely.
Is that how they classify that?
I completely agree. I'm one of those people that, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, and whatever happens, it happens for a reason. I mean, my life has been because of that. Like, literally, things have gone wrong, and I'm like, wow, there's a reason why I lost my job there, and I got a job here.
Right.
There's a reason why, I did, something stupid, in a car, and there's a reason why I'm still here.
Right.
Because I learned. I think, dude, my dad used to tell me when I was a young kid, he goes, I wish I could take my brain and put it in you so that you can learn everything, all the experiences.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like now, I'm like, dude, I wish that could be possible, because what I know now, and I sound like an old person, what I know now at 25, if I knew that when I was 16, I would live an amazing life.
Oh yeah,
I
hear
live
a lot
a
of that.
crazy
I hear a lot of people
good
say that
life.
kind of stuff.
You know?
Yeah, but what I think is I'm always not skeptical, but just careful about what people try to teach me. I try not to be influenced by too many people because I want to be my own person. Not the sense that I'm a total individual, because we're all not. We're all really the same people. But if you really observe and really look closely, I'm not saying everybody, but a majority of people try to teach others stuff that hasn't worked for them.
I agree.
You know, I always, when I try to teach people something, it's always something that has worked for me.
Yeah, it's proven. I'm very big into
You can
that.
Reproduce the results.
Yes, I need to see results. I'm very result driven too. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Because I'm not about taking, it depends.
Yeah.
I think if there's a new way to do something, and I don't know, what's a good example? What's a good example of that? Anyway, I need to see results, especially if it's something that's important.
Right.
And, but then there's certain little things that I'm okay with experimenting with. My job, a lot of people, they kind of have to experiment and kind of, go with this, go with the wind, on that and see if that works.
Right.
And sometimes it works. And sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, so to me, if it's not in your experience, it's just belief.
Absolutely.
And if it's belief, it's likely that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Because you don't know it.
Yeah.
You
There's
really
a
don't
cool
know
saying
yet.
that says, everything before the word but is bullshit.
Everything before the word but.
So you say, like, oh, that's a really great sentence you just said, Craig. But the way I think the sentence should have gone, you know what I mean?
It's the same thing when people try to tell you how easy something is.
Yeah.
And they're like, you just got to do this.
Yeah.
Or you only got to do that,
Yeah. Yeah, you only have to, like nursing school for, what's her face? Corinne. I don't the whole
You're
thing
getting
is
married
with
to
the
her,
podcast,
what's her
I
face?
don't want to say names.
Yeah.
But it's kind of inevitable.
Yep.
Yeah. With her, it's, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unless you sit there for hours and hours and hours and hours, you're not going to get it done. You're not going to get that A. You're not going to, pass that semester. She's almost done, man.
Good.
Oh, my gosh.
That's going to be such a great feeling.
Proof is in the pudding.
Proof is in the pudding.
And here we are eating the pudding. That was Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
You
What a
know,
legend.
I took this English class freshman year of college, and looking back on it, I could talk about it, how silly college was. But this English class, a bulk of it, we just watched YouTube videos and wrote about them. And you ever hear about Morgan Freeman's early career? He was on this show called The Electric Company. It's
called
so
The
silly.
Electric Company.
Yeah, it's so silly. Like, I think it was in the 70s. I don't know. It's hard to, like, pull up examples out of my head, but you just got to look into it. It's funny.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that, everybody's going to have a political opinion.
Yeah.
And I think any reasonable person should not judge someone just strictly off of their political beliefs. Because,
I don't even know his political beliefs either.
He, there was a point last year where he came out and he didn't, he mentioned something about Trump and that how he didn't like Trump was doing something specific. Now, does that mean he hates Trump and, that, he hates everything he's about? No, it just means the one thing that he, whatever. So I tend not to jump the gun with that.
Right.
And,
well, even people you do like, people you do support, I think constructive criticism is good. Because if you have someone in this, not just president, any position, who's doing whatever they want without people asking questions and criticizing, reviewing what they're doing, is it really a democracy?
Checks and balances.
Yep.
You need that.
Right.
But the Morgan Freeman thing, even though I didn't agree with what he said politically, I still liked him as a person. And then there's an interview with Don Lemon, who I do not like because he's not a good person.
Don't know.
He's in CNN. And I don't do that.
That's why I don't
of
know.
Political beliefs. I did that because of how he acts.
Yeah.
But regardless, Morgan Freeman's one of those guys like I wouldn't say like me, but he believes in the pull up your bootstraps
Right.
and get to work, and it
Right.
could be done because you can do it. Like, if you're home right now and you're listening to this, go to the CNN interview with Don Lemon and Morgan Freeman, and he sits there, and Don Lemon asks him, you're a successful black actor, voice actor, what is your thoughts? What can you say to young black people in America, to kind of motivate them? And he's like, look at me and you. He goes, we're examples. He goes, why are they any different?
Yeah.
And he goes, Don Lemon was like, oh, well, now here you go with the whole pull your bootstrap up and get to work.
Yeah.
And he goes, does that really resonate with people? And he goes, bullshit.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm here. The proof is in the pudding, and here we are at the table eating the pudding.
Yeah.
And I was like, go Morgan Freeman.
That's great.
You know what I mean? I hate when people try to, regardless of race, and that's a whole other topic that we're not even going to get into with politics, because everyone is equal, and I think anyone, any race, any language, religion, whatever it is, if you work your ass off, you can get there. You can push beyond belief, guys.
Just sounded like something got unplugged from the computer.
Go ahead.
Did you hear that?
I think,
But
was that it?
I don't know. Is your light still on? I mean, I can hear you.
I'm on.
Okay, I'm on too.
This
Keep
is,
going.
I'm on the, when you fold up the table,
Yeah,
I'm on the crease.
I see that.
So,
Yeah, I
like,
see that.
I'm like swinging.
So, back to what we were talking about, not that I want to talk about race, but just one thing I do want to say is, everybody, we are all here for such a short while, and we're all basically the same as one another, and we all have a collective responsibility for everything that happens around us. And if you don't, the way I look at things is I'm responsible for everything around me. Everything. So if the dog goes in the house, I don't blame the dog, I blame myself. I didn't let the dog out. Where's it going to go to the bathroom? You know what I mean? I'm not going to hit the dog,
Self-responsibility.
Yeah.
It's huge.
If my sister takes my parking spot, I didn't ask her to not take my parking spot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of examples, but I just feel like if you take a responsibility for everything in your life, things will go great.
Absolutely.
They'll go great.
Absolutely. That's, and everyone has, that thing inside of them. Doesn't matter what you are. But anyway, enough of that stuff.
Yeah.
How long are we on right now? Not that I want to end it.
Hour 48.
Hour 40 minutes. Shout out to the people, if anyone's listening still.
Yeah, from start to
pretty
beginning.
cool.
Or start then.
So let's talk about what. Hopefully I don't have echo.
No.
Let's talk about why we wanted to start this podcast.
Okay. Something to do.
Something to do. I feel like
Gives you a good connection with people, and you can get your message out with just one-way conversation, which the only other way you can get that is through writing. So if you're reading, you can't give a rebuttal to the person, But despite all that, I don't know. I think it'd just be a nice hobby. In the past, I wanted to do vlogging. I just want to do something on the internet,
Absolutely. For me, I think, like you said, I think relating with someone is probably the number one goal. Because when I watch other podcasts or when I watch vlogs too, I love vlogs. You feel a connection with this person. You feel like you know them. They just don't know you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that about the internet. And I feel like we eventually, because I'm very optimistic and positive about it, we eventually will have a platform where we connect with people, and we hopefully inspire them to do better and be better as a person. And that's my biggest thing with podcasts. My number one goal is to influence everyone to be nicer.
Yeah.
Nicer and reasonable. I think the power of reason is so big, and that can even go into politics, that can go into everything you do. As long as you're a reasonable human being, nobody's going to hate you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I just feel like a lot of problems nowadays could just be solved. A little bit of reason. Hey, we can do this because of that. We can't do that because of that.
And a little bit of conversation. Absolutely. So I know I was talking about like one-way communication, but it goes with anything. Like you said, politics, sports, you know, day-to-day job. If you just have a conversation with someone, it can change everything.
Yeah.
You know.
One simple conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of conversation, do you have any plans of learning a second language?
Funny you ask that. So I took a lot of Spanish, and it got to the point where me and my roommate, who was half Puerto Rican, half Ecuadorian, it was, you know, I got peeked through the window what it's like to talk in a foreign language around people who don't know that language, and it's weird. Now I see why other people do it, but, you know, I haven't spoken to anyone in a while, so I'm losing it a little bit. I'm not fluent, but my ex was Japanese, and her and her mom spoke in Japanese in the house, and I picked up on it a little bit, but just words here and there.
You know what you knew when they were talking about you?
Yeah, because they would start whispering, and, you know, it's like, well, you know, I don't understand you. Why are you whispering, you know? But I know some, like, keywords and stuff, but Spanish is probably my best second
Me
language.
too.
Yeah.
With Corinne's family,
Mhm.
I'd love to learn Spanish.
Yeah. And just a side note, did you know that there's no formal official language of the U.S.? It's not written out anywhere.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're, you know, literally it's, you can come here,
Mm-hmm.
speak any language, you can practice any religion, you know, First Amendment.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's the cool thing about America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that bottle of lightning. It's not,
Yep.
you know, everyone speak, you know, this, and you must do that. Anytime government's out of the picture, it's like, you get talking, you know, you get talking, but this is a language. When we were kids, we used to
G language.
G.
I know all about it. Yep.
Gotta you know, it's like, I don't care what you speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the beauty of it.
As long as you're a reasonable human being.
Exactly.
Yeah, pleasant. My team leader at work grew up in communist Romania.
Wow.
And he tells me stories all the time. He said when he was in school, it's not like you could pick and choose what language you want studied. It was governed, like you had to learn Chinese because the government was like, oh, let's make relations better with the other communist countries. And he tells me all this kind of stuff, but he's actually speaks 4 languages.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one thing throughout my life I'd love to do is learn a bunch of different languages. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a lot of work and a lot of, you know,
Exposure.
You gotta have that intellect. You know what I mean? You gotta have that span in your brain.
Yep.
You know, to store all these. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I think I'm glad we covered the topic of reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
Me neither.
I don't know. We've been talking on a good streak here.
About 2 hours. Yeah, I'm slowing down a little bit.
What? Hold on 1 second.
You good over there?
I don't know. I'm kind of falling off. Anyway, so for the folks watching at home, I think we discovered the lighting problem, and I think it's just the way the sun hits the windows and it comes in the room, and the camera readjusts. I think it's just an adjustment issue. It's not the actual lights in here, so we're going to fix that.
Right.
I'm going to fix my mic. I don't know if it looks slanted. But, you know, just doing the podcast, I'm very glad we did this. There's a lot of people who have been texting me, what are you going to talk about on the podcast? You know, is there a goal or, you know, whatever?
No, before, not to interrupt, but before we started, I was upstairs, and my sister Sheila was like, what are you guys going to talk about? Like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't have anything prepared. Like you said in the beginning, just going to have a conversation. Yep. And also to the people watching, next time, hopefully, we're going to have better video quality because I'm going to have a capture card.
Absolutely.
Instead of having a USB cable from the camera to the computer.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And That capture card is expensive.
Hey, I always wanted it.
Yeah.
I actually had one. Here's a funny story. So this capture card is Thunderbolt, which is similar to USB, but I bought one maybe in 2014, right? And it's like PCI. It goes right into the computer. And I'm a dumbass. I put it in while the computer was on. Totally fried it. Like,
are you serious?
Serious, brand new.
Oh
I just
God.
returned it. I'm like, yeah, there's something wrong with this. But and then I did some research about just plugging stuff into the PCI slots when it's on, and I could have killed myself. I read it. Like, it could have shocked myself. I could have, ruined the whole computer. I think I got pretty lucky.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm looking so forward to this cap card is because it's external. If I get a new laptop, we could stream with just a laptop. So
now,
just a lot of flexibility.
are 2 cameras possible for this podcast?
Yeah,
For the
I believe so.
folks?
I believe so. Yeah. Because this capture card will have 2 HDMI ports, so we wouldn't be able to get anything from like your laptop on. So yeah, but we could have 2 cameras, I believe. Yeah.
Beautiful. And we're just using right now. We're not even using like a crazy actual video recording camera. Like,
Right.
we're using a Nikon.
D5300.
And how do you like it so far? I know you did a lot of research on them.
Yeah. So David Powers, right?
Who's that?
David Powers,
Yes.
DP. He's
Schmaven.
really into photography. Yeah, Schmaven. So he recommended me that. Jesus, I can't even speak. Recommended me this one, and my ex also had this one, so I played around with it a bit. I'm pretty familiar with it, and I love it.
You like it?
Because even the new cameras coming out, like the iPhone 8, iPhone X, yeah, they got good quality, but you can't adjust the lens so you can focus on this thing in the front and not the thing in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, he takes some good photos.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does some good stuff.
Mhm.
We got the Canon T3 Rebel, and that's been a great camera so far.
Yeah.
I think it's all about the lens.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? I think they all make not the same stuff, but
Mhm.
pretty close. And if your lens is apparently the screen's frozen.
Maybe the camera stopped.
Could have. Hold on, folks. We're gonna get it going here. Actually, you know what? Nah, let's not end it. I was gonna say we'll end it and. Huh. I wonder if it's YouTube. What's it say up to the top there? So, folks, while Craig's fixing the video. Victoria, can you hear me? Can you hear me pretty good? What's that? Okay. All right, folks. If you can hear me or us, we're gonna end the first podcast. Thank you for joining us. We might hop back on just to test some things out, but we appreciate all of your time listening to us. It means a lot, and we're thankful. We're gonna keep going. Thanks again. Bye, guys.